Hey fuckers, it's Friday.
Can't spell shattered without shat or turd.
Like a gut punch to the abdomen.
Some of the funniest shit on the web.
I call it a rock Fred.
I like the cut of your jib, gentlemen.
These 5 are the only protection we have.
The best part of the show is the genuine Hasbro love.
Good night, folks.
And of course, Pat's weekly farts.
Breaking news.
It's very outside of the box.
Hail day.
I love Friday.
Bob's Bait and Tackle, now carrying Hasbro.
They truly are your favorite podcast.
Thoughts, prayers, likes, and shares.
From A to B.
Shattered Cast Uncut. Is that you? Shattered Cast
When are you going to bring Larry back?
My favorite Star Wars podcast.
Shattered Cast Uncut.
Complete fuckers. Podcast is intended for mature audiences only, and its sole purpose is to entertain. If it doesn't fit with your sensitive sensibilities, please feel free to turn it off now and
Shut the fuck up, Chip.
Good evening, or good morning, depending on what time you are logging in and listening to this. This is Shattered Cast Uncut, episode 241. This is Robert D. coming at you from the best place in the world, which is Brooklyn, New York. Yes, episode 241. Might as well get right into it and say hello to everybody. Matthew?
I cannot wait till it's his time to host. You know, it's gonna be a great show.
Well, that was T2RX6 right here. Saying,
no, it wasn't. It was Matthew.
That was Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
Well, T2RX6 is going to do all of the...
My worst impression of Matthew.
And I think I heard Bobby chuckle in there for a minute.
That's right.
And we also have Greg from Mercy, the popsicle king of Ohio.
Everybody?
Is everybody?
The sausage king of Ohio?
Popsicle.
Oh. Yeah, I've been slacking this year.
Why?
Kate gets mad at me. Well, I don't know when Bobby wants to talk about this on the show.
Whenever.
But,
He was just saying that so that we can get going. I know.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I got excited.
No. I want to talk about it on the show.
Well, go ahead.
The last few summers, I've gone popsicle crazy. But there's certain flavors I just don't really care for. Yeah.
Colors. You mean colors? They're not really flavors, right?
They're definitely flavors.
But you go by color.
You do go by color, but they're definitely flavored.
They might not be the flavors that are advertised on the box, but they do have different flavors. And then, they pile up in the freezer, and Kit's like, why do you keep buying popsicles if you're not going to eat them? Like, I ate the cherry and the lime and the, whatever, and this. And she's like,
there's 36 oranges in here.
Oh, I'll tear up the orange. It's the grape I don't really care for.
Really?
We got to hang out.
I like it.
I'm like, dude, eat this lime and this orange.
Oh, that's cool with me.
Yeah, I don't dig on the lime. Like I'm good on the grape. I don't dig on the lime.
Yeah, that's antifreeze. That's not really lime.
All right. Well, let's do everybody's favorite. What's everybody's favorite popsicle? I feel like it's an obvious answer, but we'll see.
Greg,
out of the standard box. Out of the standard, not something crazy, but the standard box. You got the green, the orange, the red, and the grape.
On the red.
Yep. The red is the fucking shit. Like,
because it's always either fruit punch or cherry.
Yep.
And you never know until you taste it, or you go strawberry. What the fuck? What kind of hippie fucking ices did you get me?
But they had their shit together when they made the red. That's a fact.
Yeah.
When you get a watermelon, are you like, if it's a watermelon, are you like, ooh?
It's almost like all the people in Brooklyn decided that red should be like a cherry flavor, and then that's how it became the greatest popsicle stick ever.
I feel like when they did it, they were like they did the red first, and they were like, oh yeah, we got something. And they were like, well, we can't just sell red by itself. Well, throw in some fucking whatever with it. It's fine.
You got all this extra antifreeze. I gotta say, and this is it's typical, but it's still true. But there's the best ices in Brooklyn. There's a place called Uncle Luigi's, and I took Matt.
They got that everywhere.
I took Matt there. and he loved it. I mean, they have some of the best flavors. They have one that I think you probably hate. You ever have their bubblegum one?
No.
It has little, like, microscopic bits of actual gum in it, and by the time you're done with it, you're chewing a piece of gum.
I'm not with that. I don't want any surprises. Like, I just want fucking, you know what I mean? Don't go out of your way. I will say...
Oh, it's not like a dick is going to shoot out of it or something.
Why do you got to take it to that?
Let me take a lick.
You got to relax. You got to relax. I will say that I got a shout out to, speaking of Brooklyn, Cool Suppliers. They're like an icy company. They're based out of Brooklyn, New York. And the guy, Timmy Grenz, that runs it, personal friend of mine, good dude. And if you're in the Brooklyn area, actually, if you're in the tri-state area, check out a Cool Suppliers Icy. They're fucking great, all natural, organic, all that kind of shit. That's my plug to them.
I'm gonna try them out.
How much did they just make?
Yeah, I hope some. I'll talk to them. I'll call them tomorrow. I have a great story. Do we have a heavy news? I got a great story involving Timmy. So I got a great story involving Timmy Grenz, if you guys would be interested. So he used to live in Annapolis down here in Maryland, and that's how I met him. And he's like an entrepreneur type, like all over the place. It's all good. He moved to this street called Clay Street, which is like the only, I mean, Annapolis has its parts, but it's like really the only fucked up street in Annapolis. But he was able to afford it because it's a fucked up street. So he moved.
Is this the dude that was getting in trouble with the neighbors?
Yes. Yes. So he moved there, and there was like guys like selling drugs on the corners. And he came out and he was like, look, he was like, just a heads up, I just moved in. I am not trying to mess with you guys at all. I respect what you're doing. I won't get in your way. The only reason why I'm able to afford this house, honestly, is because of this sort of thing. You'll never hear a peep out of me. Just do me a favor. Don't sell in front of my house. And they were like, cool. Well, he was like on the road a lot doing his thing. And
did he buy the dime?
And people started selling in front of his house. So he was like, you know, having this interaction with them constantly, like, hey, man, I thought we had an agreement, et cetera, et cetera. So he started this blog back in the day, like 2003. Like, nobody's doing blogs, really. It's just starting. So he started this blog called Life on Clay. And while he was there, he said, you know, they keep selling in front of my house, they keep selling in front of my house. So he went out to 7-Eleven. He bought all the maple syrup that they had, brought it back, covered his steps, front railing, and front wall in maple syrup. And these guys came out to hang out on his stoop and porch area, leaned up against the maple syrup. And you know how maple syrup is. You get a little drop on your finger, you're fucked for the day. You'll never get rid of it. These guys are like leaning up against it. Like they're covered in it. They get irritated. He's documenting it on this blog. The newspaper picks it up and asks if they can do a story on it. He says, sure. He imagines it's going to be on page 7B or whatever. Front page of the Annapolis newspaper is my boy Timmy Grenz with his fucking arms crossed, and it says, taking back Clay Street. So these guys now have it out for him. And he ends up getting dropped off from a taxi. He gets out of the taxi, and these guys come running after him. He runs away. They pull out guns and start shooting at him. He ducks into this church. The church barricades him in the church. He calls 911. Takes 45 minutes for the police to show up. The next day, he goes down to the mayor's office. He's like, why did it take 45 minutes? The mayor doesn't have any good answers. He's like, you know what? Fuck you. I'll do it on my own. Goes back to Clay Street, puts up flyers all over Clay Street saying, this Friday, potluck. Bring a pot.
Pancakes.
Yeah, bring whatever you got. Come on out. It's a potluck this Friday night. So that Friday night, like 4 people showed up. The next week, 8. The next week, 16. Then 32. And before you knew it, the whole street was coming out. They had live music. They had food, live food, like you know, fresh food, like
live food.
Like, no, you know what I mean, like sushi. You know, all that kind of stuff, and it like really brought the community together. He had like shirts made, like down there they have like the Life is Good shirts. They're like big down there. So he had like Clay is Good with like Clay Street on the shirt with Clay is Good underneath, and like started giving out the shirts and like starting this like pride in this community and blah 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 blah. Anyway, in the course of 8 months, dropped crime 85%. They like wanted him to run for office and shit, but he ended up getting linked up with this cool supplier thing and starting that kind of endeavor and going that route. And I have plenty of stories from Timmy Grins regarding like the ice cream industry and like how fucking gangster it is, but I'll save that for another day. But it's a pretty interesting story. Strength and community, if you know what I mean.
And maple syrup. I wonder if he like was averse to serving any dishes with maple syrup because of the original incident.
I don't know.
Someone brought some French toast, and he's like, "No." That's weird. That like that first couple times, somebody just didn't come and fuck him up.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, he had it during the day, and you know all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that helped at all or what, but
invited the precinct. Oh, that's very good. Okay, well, I just got a really good story from Bobby, and I appreciate that.
Oh, my pleasure.
So, well, Bobby, did you get anything else this week?
I did. I had a very expensive week. I'll start with the small thing. I got
a toe. A toe?
A
small toe.
A toenail. Just a toenail. I got Marvel Legends Doc Ock. So that's pretty cool. I got that from Crashbox Customs.
Are those tentacles bendable and stuff? Or
no, they're not really posable. But I'm okay with how they're posed. Like, I don't have any issues with it whatsoever. I mean, I hear, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Like, of course it would be better if they were, you know, completely posable and you could do whatever you want with them. Of course they would. But I don't really have any issue as is with how they are. Like, I think they're fine.
Can you shoot me a picture of how you have yours set up? Because mine are all fucking all over the fucking place. I don't know if I got got two of the same like set or what, but mine are.
I have the little, like the shorter ones on the bottom and the longer ones on the top.
I can't remember because I don't have them in front of me, but I feel like when I did that, they were pointed in like the wrong directions.
Oh, really? And then I got 3 Hot Toys this week.
What?
Yeah, there's a bit of a story to it. So I ordered the Last Jedi Ray. Like, it came in stock and I hadn't had it pre-ordered, and I was sitting there and somebody was like, I was looking at it online and somebody was like, that looks amazing. And I was like, I know, I'm thinking about getting it. And they were like, I think you have to get it, don't you? And I was like, I think you're right. So I pre-ordered it. I mean, I bought it flat out right then. Like, let's go. The next day, 2 items that I was on the wait list for both came in stock, like available. So I got hit for both of those at the same time, plus the race. I was like, fuck.
The blood bank.
Fuck. So you know what I ended up doing? I worked 36 hours of overtime.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's almost what people do in a normal week. So I got Hot Toys Last Jedi Ray. I got Hot Toys Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 Star-Lord. And then right. And then the one that I was the one that I had like buyer's remorse. Like, I was like, man, I shouldn't have done this. Like, it was a new line and I was like, I shouldn't have done this. I don't need this. It's what was I thinking? Joker. As it turns out, it may be the best one I've ever bought. Like, it's amazing. I love it so much. It's fucking... It's not perfect. There's like a couple little things here and there, but for the most part, I mean, it's absolutely spectacular.
Does it have good accessories?
It does. It does. It has a good revolver, and then it has like the Joker drug gun that he used in the game, and then it has a pair of handcuffs. It has a pair of crazy glasses that he can put on his face, and it has like one of those little wind up chatterbox things with a stick of dynamite stuck in it.
Does it work?
No.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. I'll send a picture in the G3 chat. I have it in on Robert's favorite shelf.
A Detox.
A Detox with this statue of Arkham Harley, and like they look really great together. Let me send it through. And and then I also submitted pictures of my collection to the Toys That Made Us. Just threw the dice on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see this chat. So
you just sent them.
So they put out an email. I mean, they put out a tweet saying that they were looking to do like collector showcases and stuff. And if you had a collection that you were proud of, to send pictures or video footage to this email and give all this description on what you have and blah blah blah. I was like, what could it hurt?
Oh, okay. I thought you like just dick picked Toys That Made Us.
No.
In a detail.
Not at all.
Oh wow, that looks good.
Right?
They go together.
Right?
Wow. I kind of like his fucked up proportions, like his head. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, I mean, it's very true to the game.
That's cool. Yeah. Wow. Look at that little revolver. Pew pew. Mm-hmm. Does his shoelaces work? Oh no.
Yeah, he has that little covering on, like Michael Jackson in Smooth Criminal.
That's why you like that. Yeah.
Man, I hate those goddamn teeth.
The little ones.
The one in his hand.
Why do you hate that?
From the game.
Yeah.
Missed out on that. I missed out on that. All right, you got anything else, Bubby?
Nope, that's it.
That's very nice. That's a legendary haul. It's a very expensive haul.
It was a very expensive haul.
It was paid for, though. That's good. That's good. No crowdfunding either. You know?
Not yet. Not yet.
That's good. Justin,
never
did you?
Never.
And speaking of never, Justin, did you get anything?
Yeah, I did actually. So, friend of the show, James G, he sent me the sword for my alternator's wheeljack that I was missing for years now. He's like, "Hey, I have this and I don't have that wheeljack anymore. You want it?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I do." So, awesome. He sent it to me. I'm very thankful of that. So finally, what has it been, like 15 years now? Like, I've got a complete wheeljack, so I am quite happy. I got my X-Transbots cliff jumper back, and I stress that I got mine back because the box was open and the Autobot sticker was inside, so I just don't understand why. I don't understand why I couldn't just send back the one, but whatever. So, yeah, I got that back, and I'm happy about that. But the hubcap is probably just as bad, if not worse, than the one I sent them. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I've heard rumors that X-Transbots has sent replacement pieces for him, but, like, whatever they are, BBTS is like, yeah, we haven't heard anything about that. So I have no clue if that is true or not. But if it did, I'd really love to have the replacement pieces over a completely mismatched hubcap. And that's all.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, if you get replacement pieces piecemeal, they're obviously not that they should have made sure the pieces were color matched on each unit, even if the respective units might be different shades of yellow to each other. I mean, if you get them piecemeal, unless they do a whole new run and guarantee all the plastic is the same shade, you're still fucked.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't really know what the best answer is here. I'm guessing for some reason, because it's the same side that's really badly miscolored, so I'm assuming that they're aware of, whatever the batch or something that made the his right foot, front of the car, the passenger side, if you're in the U.S. But yeah, I guess whatever they did with the plastic, they know it's a problem, but I don't understand why it really left the factory like that. It's really, really strange, so I don't understand. It annoys the hell out of me.
Why did you send your cliff jumper back?
They made me. They said you bought the 2-pack, so you got to send them both back.
What?
I'm like, I know. I was like, that just doesn't really make any sense. Like, why don't you just, separate a 2-pack?
Swap.
And they're like, yeah, well, we have them in, they're like, we sell them in packs of 2, and we don't have any more of the singles. I'm like, so just take mine back and then turn the other cliff jumper into a single. Like, I don't understand. So, it's fine. Like, my cliff jumper really doesn't have many problems, so I'm glad it's back, I guess. But I don't understand the mentality behind it. So.
Well, that means there's an extra cliff jumper now, right?
Mm-hmm.
They took the hubcap out of a 2-pack,
and then they'll just sell Cliff Jumper by himself, which is what they could have done to begin with, because Cliff Jumper is probably selling better than hubcap anyway. So I don't understand it.
It's cold-hearted.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's crazy. Did you get anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Gregors. Greg.
Yes, sir.
Did you get anything?
You're being really quiet, at least on my end.
Come on. Am I quiet? I asked Justin before, and he said it sounded good. Hold on, let me bring up the gain. Is that better?
No, you asked him if you were being loud, which is the opposite of quiet.
I should have asked, how is the volume level? That's what I should have said.
Should have pumped up the volume.
Shout out to Christian Slater.
So, Greg, what did you get this week?
Well, I got a few things. I got Storm Collectibles. I won it in a raffle. I got a Storm Collectibles Player 2 color Ryu. He's pretty cool.
Nice.
I wish I liked more of that one.
A waffle?
I wish I had a connection to Street Fighter 5 and not Street Fighter 2. I'd be perfectly happy, but we'll see what happens. And I got the unique toys through some wheeling and dealing and trading and
stealing,
whatever, currency manipulating. I got the unique toys Bruticus.
Wow. Nice. The whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And your thoughts?
Loose with no boxes for a good price.
You let that kid play with it.
Yeah, I got rid of a few figures that I didn't care about, and then my Sideswipe sold after like a month of being posted just out of nowhere. So, I like it. I think he's fine. There are some things I don't like. Some of the robots have some very tight tolerances, but I mean, mine seems to be holding up pretty well. I've transformed them from robot to combined mode, back to robot, and back to combined mode, and I don't have any issues outside of the normal, like, little bit of plastics, like gnawing in certain areas that you get with this company. But I don't know, man. I just wasn't feeling the Zeta one.
Has there ever been a combiner team that combines into a combined mode robot, which itself can then transform into an alt mode?
I want to say there was like some super robot stuff that did that, but I'm not the man to ask about that.
Justin, you're not the man to ask, Bobby.
No, no, I'm certainly not. But I was just throwing that out there for.
You're not the man to ask.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't clear your throat. You know, you and your throat clearing. All throat clearing, mouth noises and throat clearing.
Same thing I tell your girl.
Speaking of which, how was NJCC?
It was good. I mean, dude, like, there's a lot of cool people there. A lot of cool people that work the tables. A lot of cool people that show up. But there's a lot of broke motherfuckers in there, man. Like, God bless. Haggling me on some bullshit. You know, like, you know, like, I mean, like, I was out there selling a lot of Joe's shit, you know, and I had like a $5 bin, you know, and people would be like towards the end, people would be like, how much are these guys? And I have a sign on the bin that said like everything's $5 or 5 for 25, right? And then I said to him, I was like,
isn't 5 times 5 25?
I'm sorry, 4 for 20. I mean, no, 5 for 20. I'm sorry, 5 for 20. So I was like, okay, I was like, look, cool. You know, they're $5 a piece or 5 for 20. But I'll tell you what, I'll give you a shopping bag, and whatever you can fill from that bin in the shopping bag, I'll give it to you for $20.
Wow.
And people were still like, ugh, and walk away. I'm like, dude, you didn't want to spend money here in the first place. You didn't want to. You just wanted to have a conversation like you did.
And it's a shame you don't smoke cigarettes anymore. Because you could have pulled the cellophane off your cigarettes and like whatever you can fit in the shopping bag, $20.
The guy was like, I got this handful of French fries. Will you take some French fries?
Dude, it's just a fucking. I mean, like, just like there's. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's just. I'm talking about the few rotten apples. But good night.
Were there any pungent apples there?
I'm sure there were. It wasn't too bad. It was actually super air conditioned this year, which was nice. You know, and unexpected.
You seem to get pushed off into the corner this time. I think.
No. Yeah, we were in the corner, but we were in the room, which was nice.
That's good. And how was Hung? You were next to Hung again?
Yeah, I talk about this a bit on Nerd Rage, but like, I've kind of found his shatter point a little bit. I kind of found his shatter point a little bit.
What's that?
Like, you know, like his like weak, his like kryptonite, you know. So like he was
nuts in his asshole.
He was doing the same bit that he always does, right? Like the, you know, do you watch reviews? You know who I don't watch is this guy Bobby Skullface because he's trash. Blah 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 blah. He's doing the same thing, and then so I started going in. And I was like, hey man, do you buy from any online stores? And of course people were like, yeah, you know, BBTS, TF Source, and I was like, you ever heard of 215 Toys? And they're like, no, and I was like, me neither. But I hear that they have like some fans toy stuff, you know, like on it. So like it was good because it like shuts down that argument. I was a little disappointed with myself that it took me so long to figure that joke out, but yeah. So I fought some fire with fire.
Oh wow! Oh man, I wish I was there just for that.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
What a jump!
And that's ironic.
How so?
Your last comment.
But anyway, it's like it was good. I mean, I had a great time, and it was great to see. You know, I love the Realm guys and all that, so it was good.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Anybody have a question for me?
Did you get anything this week, Robert?
Yes, I did. Thank you for asking.
A question for me?
I got in these fucking Seekers, man. You know, I fought the
Make Toys ones?
The love one?
Fucking Iron Factory. Fuck no.
Well, that's why I was surprised.
No, Iron Factory. You know, I don't like the whole Seeker repaint pull. You know, it's like just literally manipulating my own compulsion and addiction to this stuff. But what?
Which ones came out?
Well, I got this is from 2017. I got the Acid Storm, Iron Factory Acid Storm, because GCI posted that he had a limited pre-order for the Purple Drink Seeker. So the grape drink one. So I got that because it was like limited. And I was like, fuck, now I got to get the other ones. So I got Acid Storm because I also already had the Sunstorm.
You had the Sunstorm, yeah.
So here we go. Fucking Seeker Fest. What's cool though is the Seekers come with flight stands, and there are more figures with stand potential than stands. So, you know, that's a plus. I hope this comes with a flight stand. I didn't even check. Fuck, no flight stand. Fucking assholes. How do you give out a Seeker with no flight stand? God damn it. That's bullshit. Now I feel like a real dick.
That's great.
Okay. I also got Dracula. Fucking Dracula. I didn't even transform him yet. I mean, I like him. Didn't like it. We've been listening to that a lot in the house recently, actually.
Us too.
And I got, we were in the city on Sunday. Went to and shopping around for home exercise equipment, and I was sick of all the like, you're gonna spend $1,500 on it's a lot of money on this home quality, like, you know, elliptical or a, you know, treadmill or a bike or something. They're just not built real sturdy. So I was like, you know what, fuck this. I want to get something that you would have at the gym, something that's very sturdy. They're actually more compact sometimes, and the moving parts are enclosed. It's safer. So we went to a showroom in the city, and I got a really good deal on a really high-quality elliptical. So on the way back through the village, we stopped by Toy Tokyo in my old neighborhood in the East Village. And I picked up the SDCC Vegito and the Broly. So that was cool. And they were actually, I checked, on eBay to see what the prices were. And they were below, below second market price at least, which wasn't bad.
Nice.
I picked them up. And I think that's about all that I got this week. So we shall move it along. Oh, you know what I've been doing? I've been watching, I got back into binge watching The Flash season 3.
The C-Dub show?
Yeah. What I dislike about the show is everybody has to have a romantic interest. I don't like that. It cheapens it.
Because teenagers?
Yeah. But the thing is, otherwise the writing is good enough. It's not necessarily tailored to teenagers. It's tailored to younger and older and teenagers. It's pretty decent writing, and it's got a good score, I think. And, I think he's a better Flash than the Justice League Flash.
Oh, knock it off.
It's true. I think so. Truth isn't the truth. But I like him as the Flash. But I've been binge watching that with Scarlett. It's been enjoyable. What I don't like about that show, besides the teeny bopper stuff, is how they recycle the same actors. Like everybody, it's like, how do they get around not having to hire more actors? Just have multiple multiverses and just bring in the same actors, but now they're different people.
Is that what they do?
Yeah, like they've slightly enlarged the cast, but they just hop from one Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3, Earth 19, and it's just the same people rehashed, but now they're a different person. Maybe this one's a meta, maybe this one used to be a meta and now he's just a fry cook.
Gotcha.
But still, I'm enjoying it. But that's about it. So speaking about that's about it, whatever that means. We'll go on to third-party news. We've got Magic Square Seaspray and Beachcomber. When is this coming out?
Supposedly by the end of the month. I haven't seen this. Have you guys seen this?
I have not.
The characters I've seen. I haven't seen the box.
They look good.
We've seen them
no idea these were...
Yeah, we've seen them like gray and with the group shots. So
never mind. Delete this shit.
Let me ask you a question, Robert.
Yes.
Like, what are the glaring holes that haven't either been announced or teased in some way in the Legends class?
I mean, character-wise?
Yeah.
I think they can attack everything. I mean, most...
I'm saying what... Do you understand the question?
What hasn't been...
Announced.
Announced?
Announced or released?
Do you mean from Magic Square, or do you just mean from anyone?
In general, Robert, in general.
Okay, well,
Thank you, Justin.
My point is DX9. See, Iron Factory is like it's a different. It's a
right.
Different
so
universe.
let's say G1.
DX.
So let's say Unique Toys, DX9, Magic Square, any of those.
Well,
what any other ones that are G1-esque?
Well, okay. Putting Magic Square on the side, right? Because basically you're looking at them as like they're just starting fresh, right? All you have that's on the same level as this Magic Square stuff so far is Dutch, their Prime, the DX9 Prime, the New Age Bumblebee, the Magic Square Inferno and Grapple. I would say DX9 Cup and the DX9 Dinobots. None of the other DX9 G1 figures other than that are up to par.
I would say that the Headmasters all work.
Yeah. But that's a different. That's like, they're not the same season, so they kind of already complete. Like they're basically done,
Yeah, but okay. I'll look it up myself.
Is there a hound? Does anyone have a hound out?
No, the Headmasters. You've got Hardhead. You've got.
No, I'm not asking for what they have. I'm asking what are the glaring holes? Like it just seems like everything has been fucking announced in some way or another. Like it seems like there's not much left to do almost.
For instance, take Greg's whatever. I can't even think of the word right now. But Greg just said hound. Has anybody done a hound? or announced a hound.
I'm trying to say hound, but you guys are just pandering to Robert's nonsense.
I'm not spewing nonsense.
You're rewarding bad behavior.
No, you're not.
You're both parents. You should know better than that.
Magic Square can do... See, DX9 did the Seekers, and they're decent enough. But Magic Square could do another Megatron. They could do a Shockwave. The DX9 Soundwave is good.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
This isn't court, Robert. You don't have to dance around the question.
No, I'm trying to address what the holes are.
By talking about shit that's already out.
What?
Yeah, Robert, forget it. I'm sorry I brought it up.
I don't know why you're sorry you brought it up. I mean, you want to know what the glaring holes are. I'm trying to talk about it because
Robert's lawyer gets paid by the hour.
My G1 Legends Autobot shelf is lacking.
It's kind of like if someone was like, Robert, could you define book? And you're like, well, let me start with the Ace. You know,
start by what's not a book.
No.
Let me define everything. Let me define everything in the dictionary that's not a book first.
So a computer is not a book, and a pencil is not a book. A pot plant, that is not a book.
No. Listen. This is the Autobots that have been released that I just listed. The Autobots alone. Okay. Everything else has not been released yet. So there's a lot of glaring holes. A lot. Everything that is not Prime, the trucks, the Dinobots, and Bumblebee. Nothing else exists right now.
No, because they announced a side swipe, right? And Okay. All right, I got it.
So Robert had a client walk in his office one day and was like, I didn't do it. I have pictures of me not doing it. I've got 37 witnesses, and I was in a coma at the time. And Robert's like,
okay, glaring holes.
And
I'm gonna look at my Autobots on my masterpiece shelf. Hound, Trailbreaker, Ironhide, Ratchet.
But a Trailbreaker has been announced, hasn't it?
Yes, you're right. I'm wrong there. What are you talking about? Fucking, any of the other
no Ironhide has been announced.
No Ironhide, Ratchet. There's no what the fuck is?
I seem to recall having both an Ironhide and a Ratchet as like my first two Legends figures.
Oh, yeah, but they're not up to snuff. They're not up to snuff. Just because they've been done doesn't mean... That's like saying, well, why did Masterpiece come out with one? Because fucking...
Right, but it's still out. It's still out.
It's a glaring hole. Honestly, they're not good enough to... nothing about them is good enough to stand up to snuff with this, the good DX9 stuff or the Magic Square. Wheeljack...
Holes would be holes that are immediately visible when you look at a shelf. If you have an Ironhide and a Ratchet in your collection,
they don't belong on the shelf.
You see those characters. You don't realize they're not up to snuff until you.
That's like putting a deluxe Hasbro figure on the shelf next to an MP and saying the hole is filled.
Well, not really, because I think they look fine. But that's just me.
Okay, Matthew. Matthew didn't leave.
Oh my God, where's my?
No, it's a different. Deluxe is a different scale. It's a different scale, Robert. So it's not the same thing. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
They're small. They're actually smaller. They don't scale with the current Legend scale.
Okay. So that's a better argument. I get that.
But there's a whole bunch that can be done still, and then you've got all the combiners.
Well, they've announced Stunicons. They have a Constructicon set.
You got Bruticus.
The Bruticus is the IDW one, so I get that one being because they're smaller. They're like those Iron Factory ones are like significantly smaller.
There's no Abominus. There's no Computron. There's no
correct.
Fensor, Duperion.
Okay, so the combiners need to be done.
And then all the big bots other than that, Omega, because Mech Fans toys don't count. Like, a lot of these things are touched by other companies, but they're just, in my opinion, not the same level. They don't look right on the shelf next to the really high-quality stuff.
I got you.
All right. Move it along before you start screaming at me more.
No, but these... are you all done with these Seasprays and Beach? Are you in for this?
Yeah.
Yeah, they look great.
Yeah, of course.
I don't like the out mode on Beachcomber. The one thing I see about... the Beachcomber is like I just don't really like how they did the kind of like the hood of the dune buggy. Like it really looks like his feet just folded up. Like
It does.
It doesn't really look like they tried for the car, and which surprises me because then you look at Seaspray, and like they nailed the alt mode. You know, like it almost looks like two different companies doing the toy, kinda.
Yeah, I get you.
Puppy agrees. That the wheels on the dune buggy look terrible too. Everything about that dune buggy is pretty bad looking.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, the robot modes look good, I guess. So that's the important part.
Are you getting it?
Me, no, I'm not. I don't do Legends. Makes me wonder though, Bobby, if you review these, you need to give a call to Seaspray and see what he says about this Seaspray.
right,
I'm not sure.
Will.
Like he looks a little like he's a little chunky, but still a little heroic. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. You know?
Yeah. Well, go ahead. Talk about it.
I wish he looked dumpier. I want him a little dumpier.
Do you?
know, yeah, just like a Hoist. I want Hoist to look dumpy. You know, I want this guy to look potbelly. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to look like he's wearing a life vest. Kind of.
I got you.
What do you think?
You know, so I mean that's definitely the more accurate, right? You know, the dumpy, but like I just, you know, I think that this looks cooler than that is all, you know, and I understand the need for accuracy. Don't get me wrong, I do, but Seaspray is one of those characters for me where it's like I don't really give that much of a fuck about him. So if I can have a cooler version of it, I'll probably just roll with the cooler version. Well, you know, in terms of subjectivity.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Why is this photo on like a girl's birthday card?
Yeah, that is strange.
Party
that
girl.
That is strange.
Food.
I will concur.
Greg, do you like that?
Like what?
I'm forgetting. I'm sorry I asked.
All right.
Greg, do you like that the promo pics are on a birthday card to a small child?
Female.
Yeah, that's what I thought he said, but when I asked him, he started making noises. Let me go back to that picture. I'd already moved the fuck on with my life. Considering their mascot's a little girl.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think it's probably intentional.
It's a valid point.
Very astute, Greg.
It's a valid point.
All right. Articulated hands for Fans Toys Koot.
Articulated garbage, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool.
What?
If you're the type of person who really likes the articulated hands, like, great. You know, perfect for you. But, like, in my experience, these toys are not big enough that articulated hands don't look stupid to me. And, like, they're just super delicate. So, you know. This is the type of shit where, like, you get the toy later and it's, like, missing its fucking, you know, the forward part of its finger. You know, it's got, like, two knuckles, but... Yeah, I don't know. I hate articulated hands. The only ones I actually think I like them on is the Dinobots from Fans Toys. But like again, they're a bigger fist than this, you know?
Yeah, to me it like really depends. Like if they're pinned hinges, I'm good with it. Yeah. But if they're ball pegs or some shit, like I'm just like enough.
I think pins are very important on articulated fingers. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and like a lot of times, like, and I think Koot is a perfect example of it. Like, it makes the hand look disproportionate to the body. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep. Yeah, the fingers look too long and shit and spindly.
Yeah, and like there's the picture of him giving the thumbs up, and like it looks like he hit his finger with like a hammer, and then it's just like, you know, cast up or something like that. Like that's how thick the thumb looks. Like, I don't know.
I gotcha.
What you can say, Greg?
I wonder where this guy found a Kmart to take a picture on the toy shelf.
Maybe he broke into an old Toys R Us.
Yeah, that's definitely a Kmart toys shelf.
All right, hands are so cool. Oh, okay, DX9 Moses. Now, what is this? I have no idea.
It's clear.
What? Oh, come on.
What are you doing, Robert?
What? Why? Why is he called Moses? Because do they mean he didn't part waters? Did they mean like Lazarus because he died and came back or something? Like because he's a ghost? What are they doing?
Maybe because his legs look like water.
Part the water, baby.
I don't know. I got nothing.
I got nothing either. What about you, Greg? You got anything on this?
I wish Matt was here to appreciate this.
Yeah, I feel like Matt really would appreciate some clear Optimus Prime.
You see, I don't associate a clear Prime with a clear Starscream to me is Ghost. Starscream. You know, Prime has to be a gray. Like, I don't know why they're not attacking the gray repaint or the unpaint. You know, I would love to buy gray, versions of Prime over clear. There was never a Ghost of Optimus Prime.
There was never a Ghost of Devastator either, but that seemed to have gone over pretty well.
Yeah. They're milking that shit. Holy crap.
I think just clear is kind of the hot thing right now.
It's all the rage.
All right.
Oh, well, shit. Speaking of milking, I forgot to put something. Hold on, let me see if I can find it now.
The Generation toy, the black one?
Yeah. That was the TFW,
yellow toy world.
Or the yellow toy world. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
The new dirty repaint. Yeah.
It looks great, though. I mean, the paint job looks great. I mean, it's a bit much, like in terms of releases, but it looks like it was really well done.
All right, FansHobby God Bomber.
So we don't really see too much about this thing, really, outside of the alt mode and stuff, but I am pretty excited about it.
Do you see what it comes with?
I do. I love the fact that they put the little Headmaster Juniors as little extra figures. Like, that is awesome. The fact that they can sit in the 3 windows there, just like they did in the cartoon and stuff. Like, I am totally down. I love it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see transformed modes of this and stuff, but for now I'm happy.
Now I'm not familiar. That's an extra trailer, but why does it look like a cab?
So, if I recall correct, in the cartoon, it actually it did not really require Optimus to move around. It was like its own little vehicle type thing that could just link up to the back of Optimus. So.
Well, it had a robot mode too.
Yeah.
And then it turned into armor. And then it got damaged and turned into what's his fucking name?
Wheelie.
No, shut up. Star Saber and
yeah.
What's his name? The cat.
Victory Leo. No. Victory Leo is the combined. No, it is Victory Leo because it's Victory Saber.
Yeah, Victory Saber.
Yeah.
There's Wheeljack, who had been dead since the Transformers movie, all of a sudden shows back up, 3 series later, and he's like, "I got plans."
Well, what else has he been doing?
You're not gonna like it.
Everybody thought he was dead, but he was actually just sitting there rebuilding himself. So.
And what's the story with the Headmaster Juniors? I'm very unfamiliar with this.
It kind of depends. Presumably, you want to go on the fiction that they're on, in which case, the Headmaster Juniors are... I don't even know how it worked. I know that Jinrai was a truck driver who finds the Optimus, thing, and then he's basically using it as a mech. It's really weird. I hate Master Force in general, but if they're going to do it, I want to see the little Headmasters inside. What's his face?
So do they combine into one head or something? Or?
No, so they all... Hose Head, the G1 Toys, Hose Head, Nightbeat, and Siren, I think was his name. Right. Those are the U.S. repaints of those toys. Hose Head is essentially the same thing, but he was Cab. Then Siren was Ghost Shooter, is actually what he was in Japan. He was a white police car. We got the gray firefighting, whatever he was. And then Minerva was what we got. Our Nightbeat was Minerva there, and she was like a white ambulance car. So, yeah. They're just totally different than the U.S. ones. What's that?
My favorite.
I guess the
Well,
ambulance.
Justin left out the best part of all of it. And that's accessories. So, they all, like, the characters we had as the main pretenders are the main Autobots and Decepticons in Master Force. And they have these bracelets that they clink together, and they go, "God on!" And then they fucking turn into their armor forms. So they find bracelets, and they hand out these bracelets. And so that's where Jinrai comes from.
I say the same thing when I switch lanes without looking.
That's fair.
Yeah, so the Headmaster Juniors was just an excuse to use the molds, the Hasbro toy molds that didn't get a fiction.
Well, that's interesting, actually. I like that stuff.
All those toys we got after the show was off were prominent Japanese characters. Like Double Dealer was Double Clouder. He was a Decepticon child slave.
Controversial. Speaking of controversial, Toys Alliance Hasbro news. We're moving along to Hasbro news, and we've got Toys Alliance Soundwave and Laserbeak.
So is this like ridiculously oversized Megatron and Optimus that's recently been released? Okay, I wasn't sure.
But to answer the question that we had when we talked about this before, that Laserbeak looks like it turns into a full-size cassette, which means this is actually compatible with the MMC tapes.
Yeah.
It's such a commitment. I mean, it looks cool.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
Come on.
It doesn't fit in a DTOF, as a heads up.
No, it's perfect for it.
Doesn't fit in a Billy.
Yes, because they're adjustable shells.
Doesn't fit in a Crotor.
or a Calyx. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I love it. I just, it might be. So here's the thing. If I was going to get a quarter scale statue, I might opt for this as a cheaper alternative.
Isn't that weird though? Because it's like, how much are these?
A couple $100, I think. 200 some change.
That's like so much money to settle.
Right. And that's the thing is that, like, I think these are great, and I think, like, if you have like a space set up to display them, like, like, they're impressive as fuck. Like, I wouldn't knock anybody for getting this, but for me, for just personally, like, they're just, like, they're too big.
And like, can't fit it anywhere, Bobby.
Well, I can. I have a place set up for some quarter scale stuff. But if I get some quarter scale stuff, like, I think I'd rather get that other Soundwave quarter scale one that had, like, all the tapes set up, like the statue but this is a figure, it's not a statue, but the one I would go for, I think, would be the statue.
The one thing that's always weird about these particular figures to me is that, like, I just feel like they look so bulky. Like, I don't like the bulk of the robot modes.
I hear you. Yeah, they're definitely not sleek.
Yeah. And like, it's a weird thing to say because, like, a lot of the G1 designs are all boxy and stuff like that. But, I think the reason I say that is, when you look at the cartoon, they still weren't, like, crazy, like, exaggerated proportions on the forearms. Like, boxy, yes, but I don't know. That exaggerated proportions part is what gets me.
They're almost puffy.
Yeah.
They're
exactly.
They seem inflated.
Mm-hmm.
For no reason other than that's the aesthetic.
Yeah, and it's
obviously,
fine. I mean,
so
it's
transform.
It's obviously their design choice that they're going for, and if you like it, you win. So.
That's Matt's word. That's Matt's term. Right, Bobby?
That's right.
You like it, you win?
Got to represent some
That's his.
Matt Baldwin here.
That's all it is. You can have it.
What color swim shirt you got, Bobby?
I don't have a swim shirt. I don't have swim trunks. I don't have any of that shit.
You don't have swim trunks?
Why would I have swim trunks?
You wear a Speedo?
Why would I have a Speedo?
You don't wear bathing suits ever?
No.
Well, you better go get a pair. You have a week.
I'll see.
Man, I'm getting nervous. Holy
Why?
shit.
Yeah, Laura said you were.
Yeah, I'm getting nervous.
For a guy that doesn't like surprises, he sure is ready to surprise Robert D.
Bobby's like, I freeball it in the pool. Who's peeing and has two thumbs? This guy. All right, statuish news. Imaginarium Art Megatron prototype. Ooh, let's see this puppy.
Who is that supposed to be that he's standing over?
I thought you meant that Chinese kid.
It's like a mix of like Starscream and Ironhide.
You're right.
I know it. Yeah.
By golly, that looks like War of Cybertron Ironhide. War for Cybertron. That's Ironhide. You're right. That's a dead ass Ironhide.
Dead ass B.
Fucking. Do you like his face? Do you like this Megatron face?
I don't, but I think again it's going with the aesthetic that they're trying to go for here. Like
it looks like he's ripping a fart.
He's like, I killed you. Now I'm gonna fart on you.
Like one of those units.
I'm killing your friend. I'm gonna fart on your dead body.
I love the sculpt. The face. I'm not crazy with that face. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Justin. I cut you off.
No, I was just saying the same thing. Like this is their aesthetic that they're going for. Like I don't feel like any of of their statues actually look like the character they intended to be entirely. I feel like they're all kind of weird, but whatever.
Does it look like his fingers have posability?
Looks like it. That'd be cheesy to make it like give him like ball joints that don't move. How many bullshit emails are they gonna get? Oh, the hands came broken in the box. I don't know what happened. Oh man, that's cool though. I mean, here's another thing. It's like something that's pretty cool, but it's quite a commitment, and it's not like you're getting this true G1 thing. So it's just like off the beaten path of something really interesting. But man, you got to have some space for this stuff.
Yeah.
And in your bank account, you got to have space too.
True.
Jeez. We're not all Joe KW. Jesus Christ. That guy's house is like a fucking museum, huh?
Yeah, his house is pretty impressive. Well, this temporary one. When he gets his real house, then it'll be even better.
Wow. Is his address DETOLF?
Mm-hmm.
What's that, Justin?
I said, mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right. That's it for the news. Do we have a discussion topic?
Can you tell me again which Legends class haven't been made or not? I'm kidding. Please don't do that.
Jazz, Cliff Jumper. No. Nightbeat. All right. Question.
Oh, and I want to go back into one of the old MP collector. I forgot to go back into it last week, but yeah, so
go back in and enter the MP collector,
so to speak.
That's what we should.
Yeah, don't force it, Bobby. I mean, yeah.
Right.
Let's not waste time.
I asked him why he doesn't go in a pool, and he says he doesn't like to get wet. He likes to keep it dry. So you better watch out, MP.
It is true. I just, like, I don't know. Like, I hate fucking lotion, and I hate all that shit. Like, I just.
You mean you have to put on sunblock?
Yeah. I mean, I have to. I have to do that because otherwise I'll get burnt to a crisp. But
yeah. So.
But I hate it.
You can run like a man.
I just fucking hate doing it. So, dear SCU crew, this week's topic is another get to know the crew question. For each of you, what are your favorite sitcoms from the 80s and 90s? Are there any you can't resist if you stumble on a return while you're flipping? If you stumble on a rerun while you're flipping through channels? And if you happen to list Seinfeld as one of your favorites, are there any episodes that stand out amongst the rest? I only watched sitcoms during the 80s. Like, I didn't watch any of the 90s sitcoms. And I only watched them because my grandma watched them. I would just lay down watching them with her. Like, I watched like a bunch of old shit, like Newhart. I watched Newhart. Oh! I watched
Wallace. Did you watch that one?
I don't think so. You know what my favorite one was Perfect Strangers. That was like my favorite shit when I was dude. I loved it.
Yeah, I love that show. I have like whatever they released on DVD, but they've only released like one season. Yeah. Wish they had more of it. I wonder if they do. I'm gonna go look right now.
Does it hold? It can't hold up, can it? Like, have you watched any of it recently?
Yeah, it's still good.
It holds up.
Complete third season. Oh, look at that.
Well, let me ask you guys a question then. Are you
interesting?
Go ahead, Greg.
Are you guys Team Larry or are you Team Balky?
Oh, definitely Balky.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
Don't be ridiculous. I watched Family Ties. Just because I think I wanted to be Michael J. Fox for a fair portion of my childhood.
Didn't
shook that
like
off.
I still would be 80s Michael J. Fox. Why not?
Hey,
Robert,
Bobby,
did you say?
you
Go ahead, Greg.
Michael J. Fox and your
No, I'm good now. I'm good
you got
now.
about 15 more years before.
I did end up inheriting all the bad elements of Teen Wolf, but
not all of them.
Hey, Robert, did you say I shook it off? You're a fucking monster. I watched Alf.
Yeah, Alf. Alf's a good show.
Dude, fuck yeah, it's coming back.
Yeah.
Like a reboot.
Badella, she had not seen it, and we watched it, and she's like, "This is a really good show." I'm like, "Yes, it is."
I watched, loved the Cosby Show as a kid, like loved it. I loved Different Strokes, but I rarely caught it because it like came on at a weird time or a weird channel or something, and I rarely caught it, but I did like it. I'm just looking at a list now. Who's the Boss?
That's a good one.
Yeah, watch that. Full House, cut it out. Watch that.
What about Three's Company?
Yeah. I watched Three's Company for sure.
Just for the chicks. Oh boy. When I was little, I was like, oh my god.
I watched The Facts of Life, Punky Brewster.
What about Small Wonder?
I don't know about that one. I definitely watched Married with Children.
Small Wonder was pretty good.
She's a small wonder. What about What's Happening?
Dude, Perfect Strangers was from 86 to 93. That's a hell of a run. Yeah, I definitely watched What's Happening. What's Happening was one of those shows that I watched syndicated, though. Like, I watched it. There was a period where it used to come on, like, after Transformers on a certain channel. I think 54 in my area. And I used to watch it there. Dude, Newhart went from 82 to 90. That's a hell of a run. I feel like shows don't have these type of runs anymore.
They don't. I don't feel like they do.
I watched Roseanne. I watched Mr. Belvedere.
Oh God. Oh yeah.
I definitely watched Mr. Belvedere. Why did I watch this dumbass shit? Like, Murphy Brown I watched.
Wings.
No, I never watched Wings. I remember it came on. I think it came on late, though. That was the problem. Like, I never watched anything that came on late.
Moonlighting?
Except I'll tell you one show I used to watch that came on late. But I used to try to sneak down and watch it. It was Quantum Leap. It's not really a sitcom, but I would try to watch that. I watched I watched Head of the Class.
Which one was that?
It was like this, like he was like a school teacher. He's like the hip school teacher, and the kids.
I remember that one vaguely.
And there was like the one kid that was supposed to be cool. He sat on the chair backwards. Like, that's what I remember about it. I watched My Two Dads. I watched that.
You didn't watch Seinfeld?
You know what? I never watched Seinfeld.
And you want to be my latex salesman?
But I think it's because I think it was because it was more of a 90s show, and I stopped watching sitcoms in the 90s. I don't know how to see more of these. I don't know how to see more of these.
What about Good Times? That was the 70s.
No, I remember it, but I remember it coming on syndicated, but I never really watched it.
What about All in the Family?
No. I mean, I know All in the Family, but I never really watched it. I watched Home Improvement, even though that was the 90s.
What about the Jeffersons?
Didn't you already ask that?
No.
No, I didn't watch the Jeffersons. I'm aware of it, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, you were more of an Archie Bunker kind of guy.
No, not the case. But I guess I was more of a Cosby type of guy.
I don't know if that's anything better, Bob.
Yeah,
Go back to Archie Bunker.
Yeah.
See, I don't remember any of the stuff from the 80s or 90s because, like, I watched all that shit on Nick at Night, so I watched like all the black and white shit, like Mr. Ed, and Dick Van Dyke, and all that stuff.
Leave it to Beaver, but that's not 80s and 90s, you know.
Well, I know it's not. But I would catch the stuff that would come on, like, what was it, ABC on Friday night? They had that block that kind of just rotated through the late 80s and early 90s.
I watched Growing Pains and Webster, for sure.
Did you watch Full House?
I did.
My sister went to high school with Webster. She said he was an asshole. She had class with him. He had bodyguards. Said he was a dick.
I watched A Different World.
It's a different world. Where you come from?
Definitely. Dwayne Wayne. Pop up on you like Dwayne Wayne's glasses.
I think you covered everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't anything you didn't watch? So,
no, I watched a lot. I would watch it like my grandma had me most of the nights, and we would watch sitcoms from like 8 to 10, like every night for a while.
8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
No. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. You know, and then cartoons, of course, in the afternoon if I was able to, because I had a lot of like activities in baseball and soccer and taekwondo and all sorts of shit. So I rarely had the opportunity to watch cartoons as much as I wanted. But
ballet,
yeah.
I took ballet when I was little.
Did you really?
I didn't ask to. Horrible.
Why did they put you in that?
Because my sister was taking it.
Oh, so Twinkle Toes, you're breaking my heart.
Fucking put me in it. I hated it.
Your sister
it was mortifying. It was embarrassing.
Of course it was. Your sister took it, so they put you in it too. Like,
they get the fuck out of the house? She's going. You're going. We're gonna fuck.
Do you remember any of the moves?
Not at all.
Come on, you got to remember one or two moves.
Okay, picture me right now, but
yes,
really young, with full of energy and lobotomized.
I'm already picturing that.
I was a horror. I mean, I never did anything. I ran around the place. I was a piece of shit. Go ahead, Greg. So, Robert, what you're saying is you haven't changed much.
Dude, I totally imagined it before you gave the description. Like, I imagined it pretty much the same way.
Because I know they did gymnastics there. I was really little, but I remember just vaulting, like just running to the vault and like.
Oh, I bet you were.
You know, I wasn't doing ballet.
You were.
I was a bastard.
Oh man, Robert Twinkle Toes.
Robert Twinkle Toes. Oh God, I'm gonna wear a swim shirt now, a blue one. I'm gonna wear my blue swim shirt. Yeah. Better go in the pool.
Are you a big pool guy?
I'm a huge swimmer, of course.
I know you love it. You're always going to like water parks and shit. That's like some super trash shit.
No, you
like,
fucking get drunk. And hang
I feel like
out
every time I go to a water park, when I walk in, I'm like, nope, I'm out.
Hey, but if it's a private pool, it's your own pool at the house that you're.
I feel like those people have been waiting to get in the lazy river since they were born.
when
you are definitely a lazy river kind of guy.
I hate the lazy river. I hate it. It stresses me out. I just think about everyone urinating around me.
Of course. In the wave pool, you get in the wave. No.
I get nauseous in the wave pool. I do. I like outside pools though. Like they have an outside pool at Grey Wolf that we like to go to. People don't usually go out, you know, because I'm not afraid of the sun. But Yeah, give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Plus, it's gonna be like raining and cold, I think, all week, which is perfect.
Oh, fuck you.
I mean, it's perfect for me.
What, did you write a letter, Bobby?
What? Did I write a letter?
Yeah. All right. I guess you covered everything, though, Bobby. You covered everything, unless anyone has. Justin, did Bobby miss something?
Nope, I think you got it all that I can think of.
I want to run back this one question he sent in, which was, I was wondering if you guys have noticed a substantial decrease in the overall amount of good YouTube content coming out. For background and context, I subscribe to about 100 different YouTube channels, mostly focused on nerd stuff. Around this time a year ago, those 100 channels were collectively releasing 7 or 8 videos a day that I would immediately bookmark. Anyway, fast forward to today, and there are seemingly 15 must-see videos released every month. 4 of those are SCU, then another 4 come from NRR, and the rest come from within the realm. Is that just me noticing this? Am I just subscribed to the wrong 100 YouTube channels? And I'd love to hear your thoughts. I was absent when they asked this. I really think it's two things. So one of those things is it's like oversaturated, right? So there's an abundance of content, and it's almost like anything else, almost like Netflix now, where there's like Netflix is producing 100 different shows, right. And so when you're increasing your output that much, like the quantity isn't always as high in terms of ratio to the non-quality. The other thing is that, like, I honestly think that this new thing they did, and I know it fucked Matt, and it almost fucked Shattercast, and it almost fucked Into the Realm. But like this new thing they did where you have to have 1,000 subscribers in order to start monetizing content, I think is actually a good move, because like there is a bit of a buy-in. Like you have to be creating an audience and an output, like a platform for your output, where you have to stick with it and persevere a bit in order to start monetizing. Because when they let down that guard, and I got in when that guard was let down, but when they let down that guard, you have people that take like viral videos and just put them on and they have like 3 videos. They're all super viral. They're copies of imitations or whatever. And they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, even though they have like 300 subscribers, because each video has like 4, 5, 6 million hits, you know? And so you start having all of these people making that sort of content, and it just becomes like a fucking trash heap to sort through. I'm not subscribed to that many channels, but every channel I'm subscribed to is like they create high quality content, in my opinion. And you know, and so I'm not really noticing any difference, but I don't also, at the same time, I don't consume a whole lot of content outside of like the regular shit, like movies and whatever. It's very rare that I get a chance to like sit down and just scroll through my subscription feed.
Well, let me ask you this, because I think there's another point there. Like, is part of the reason like you don't necessarily watch the content is because you're kind of not as interested in the content, right? I mean, maybe MP, I mean, I know it applies to me. I'm less excited to see what people out there are saying about things, just because, like what you said, it's like oversaturated. It's like, okay, great. What you're saying, 30 other people are doing the same fucking thing as you. So
right, but I'm not subscribed to that many reviewers. You know, like I'm only like, I think I'm only subscribed to Justin, Matt, PR, and Anthony's Customs. Like I think that's it.
Did you ever used to, though, like get on YouTube and like search instead of for a producer of content, rather search for like a subject and see what's out there?
Yeah, I still do that.
But like with Transformers, though, it seems a little saturated.
Yeah, but I'm not subscribed to that many Transformer content producing channels. You know, like I'm subscribed to like one of my subscriptions is this lady. She's a painter, and like I just used her content today.
Flyer
and a driver. I just used her content today. Like she was painting. I'm working on this diorama for Endor, and like I was looking for some tips on like how to paint a forest, and she just happened to have this video that was like, you know, how to paint the redwoods, which is where Endor was shot, obviously. And So like, I used her content today to like give me some tips on working on this forest. And
oh God, Bob Ross face. I would love to see you do that.
Dude, I'm getting good at the scenic paintings, man. Like between the Octu one and the indoor one and the what was the other one? Oh, Felucia. Like I'm getting good at that shit.
I love a good Felucia.
Oh God. But yeah,
yeah.
Any dickhead, like there's less and less people really trying to put out, or at least there is. I think that this new policy is going to curb that a little bit, but I think there was a period where like just less and less people were putting out content that they actually fucking were passionate about and cared about. And I think when people are, it shows through. Like I think it's obvious, like it comes across. So if I was my answer, I guess, to MP Collector is yes, I have noticed a decreasing, but I think that we might be at the beginning of an upward swing. And a lot of people have left YouTube also because of like the changes in money and like some of the political stuff that they've done. So like a lot of people have left YouTube as well.
They had to get full-time jobs.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sympathetic to that. Like, if you like, let's say you were you were a janitor and a flyer and a driver, and you were making, $9 an hour, and then you had a YouTube channel kick off about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it just fucking took off out of control, and you were making $3,000-$4,000 a month, and then all of a sudden you're making $1,200 a month. So now you have to go back to working the 9 to 5 at the $9 job for mopping and flying and driving. Like, I'm sympathetic to that. Like, that sucks. I mean, obviously YouTube doesn't owe you shit, and it's their show. They can do whatever they want with it at the end of the day, and you should have contingency plans. I get all that, but it doesn't change the fact that it's just like a fucking bummer.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think when you have like what you'd consider a stable job, you become, I believe, complacent. It's an illusion, because at any time, any one of us can lose our source of income and be in a significant trouble. It can happen really to anyone. Yeah. So it's a good lesson we can all learn from. Maybe if you make a whole lot of money, try to save some. I mean, I'm still trying to figure that out. I blow through money. It's really irresponsible.
Yeah, it's obvious.
Shut up. Yeah, like booking fucking vacations at my friends.
I mean, that's not even if you're going to start shaving money off your irresponsible spending, I wouldn't start with a family vacation.
I know, it's with the toys. Honestly, I am thinking about that. I'm like, fuck, what am I doing?
But I mean, not even the toys. I mean, like you like go through like look at all them Gundams you bought, and then you just gave them up. Like,
yeah, but you know what?
That's just
I don't regret that.
I hear you, but that's just it's just a sign of a person with money to burn. Like, like if I bought that many Gundams, I'm not giving away a trash bag to anybody. Like,
they were cheap.
I've got to recoup.
Even a wasted dollar is a wasted dollar.
Right.
Yeah. No, certainly. I see a lot of waste. And but that's the point. The money can stop coming tomorrow. Literally.
Let me ask you guys this: like, what YouTube channels are you subscribed to that you actually still get excited about their content fairly regularly, if at all?
I miss Diary of a Man-Child. Miss it.
Robert, we'll start with you.
I like your show, your channel. I like to see what
that's got. That's kind of you. Let's take anybody that we know out of it, like in terms of like friendships shit. Like let's remove that and just say like, just YouTube as a platform.
Not much. Not when it comes to, not much when it comes to Transformers, to tell the truth.
No, it doesn't have to be about Transformers, just generally.
I like to look up new shit, so I like to look up, it's embarrassing. I mean, I'd rather be mad at this point, like, with the stuff we caught him looking up on YouTube. But
how about that?
It's like braless. It wasn't
Braless Trampoline Championship.
No, it was like the Braless Realtor or something. It was like, what? It was some crazy shit. And Matt was like, I don't know how that happened.
Damnedest thing.
I like looking up conspiracy theories.
Okay. I'm sure you do. You're like, we never went to the moon. 9/11 was an inside job. All that kind of stuff. That's you. That's got your fingerprints all over.
We did go to the moon, but we found aliens there.
Oh, of course.
Like I like to look up like all the content I miss out on. I like to look at like, you know, Marvel theories or Star Wars theories or this, that, the other. You know, that's my way of staying connected. You know, it's quick fixes, but I'm not like subscribed to any particular channel necessarily, but I'll search stuff out.
Right.
Yeah. But Transformers wise, it's really, you know, just like, you know.
It doesn't. I was just curious in general, not necessarily Transformers.
Yeah.
But
And
you still haven't mentioned any channel, like.
No, nothing particular. Honestly, like, you know, like maybe news stuff, funny shit that I see from the news that I had missed. But nothing.
But not a channel.
No.
Gotcha.
Nope. My
What about
feed
you,
will
Greg?
show me.
What about you, Greg?
I like to look at like true crime stuff. I'm not really subscribed to any channels for that. I do like watching crazy conspiracy theory videos, but again, I'm not subscribed to any of that shit. I like watching like random comedy stuff, so I'm subscribed to a couple of those channels, like the All Things Comedy Network, and then there's a couple of channels that post like live performances and stuff from bands, like just random. Most of them I'm not into, but every once in a while, like a little gem will pop up in my feed, and I'm like, ooh, it's a band I like. So,
Life hacks? Do you like life hacks?
Do you like life hacks?
It depends. I love watching those most unsatisfying videos where they do shit that gets on your nerves, like cutting a cake all fucked up or cutting vegetables unevenly, drawing a line that gets crooked.
They just pop up in my Facebook feed enough. Stupid people sharing them over and over.
Sorry.
Let's see who I'm sub to. Let me see if I can give you some names. As far as toy stuff, Anthony's Customs, Pia, Watafa from Japan. Apparently I'm subscribed to all these YouTube advertisers videos because there's like 10 of them in my feed. Yeah, and then like All Things Comedy Network. I watch the TNI News channel for like Marvel figures and things like that, even though the guy kind of gets on my nerves. And really that's it, outside of the things I have to be subscribed to. There's a particular channel or a video I want to recommend, actually. If you guys are into comedy at all, it's on the All Things Comedy Network. It's called Trash Tunes, and it's the two guys from my favorite podcast, The Dollop, and they look at old cartoons, and they do commentary on them. And I'm talking like shit, like black and white shit, and it's pretty fucking funny. So
nice.
If you guys ever have like 6 minutes to spare, I think their videos run about, like 6-7 minutes long.
Nice. My kids must be on my fucking account. What about you, Justin?
So related to toys, I always look forward to when Retro Blasting puts out either like a retrospective about a toy line, a TV show, or just like a review of a toy. I don't really care for the podcast part of it because just takes up a lot of time. I stumbled across Toy Galaxy recently, and they're kind of similar, and like all their stuff is like 10 minutes or less. So like, I really kind of been looking forward to whatever they post lately. I like Bithead 1000. He does a lot of like garage sales and video games things, and he's got like one of the best channels ever. Dude has totally awesome stories. Like his shit runs long, but like every minute's worth listening to. And GameSack, which is just another like retro video game. Well, not even retro, but mostly retro video game. I I guess, show, because it's like a 30-minute show they do every couple of weeks. So, yeah, that's really what I look forward to watching.
Do you still watch Ashens?
Yeah, I do, but I don't really look forward to his stuff as much as I used to, because I feel like the things that I always like is when he goes through, like, you know, like the crappy knockoff things and stuff like that, and he doesn't do that much as often. Like, he's like, we're gonna eat food, and like one thing that like, you know, it kind of drives me crazy when you're eating food on YouTube, because regardless of if you say it's like 40 years old or not, like, you know, nothing about that is just like, oh yeah, I gotta see that, you know. So I don't know, don't really, I watch it, but I don't look forward to it like I used to. I do like when he does this Christmas stuff. Like, I like watching that stuff, like the crappy advent calendars and stuff like that. But, you know.
Do you still watch BigClive.com?
I'm sorry, what?
BigClive.com. Are you the one that, maybe it was somebody else? I thought I got it from your recommendation.
Nope, not me.
The British dude or Scottish dude who like tears down like cheap electronics. He's like an engineer.
No, I don't know that guy.
Oh, I thought that was you that turned me on to him. Maybe it was somebody else. There's another guy, and I can't remember his channel name, and I don't want to go through everything I'm sub to.
Penn Island.
That he hasn't posted in a while, because I think he probably died of botulism. But you just reminded me of him. He eats all these old, like, 60-year-old MREs. And then, like, he'll like go through the whole thing. He'll drink the coffee. He'll smoke the cigarettes, and he hasn't posted in a while. So I think he might have died. Like, there's a good chance this dude's fucking dead of some like long extinct disease.
Why would you want to eat? I've seen some of those, you know, videos. Why would you want to eat that stuff? Like, why?
Why the fuck would you want to eat McDonald's? But people do it every day.
Yeah, but they're not handing you 50-year-old McDonald's from a can. You know, then I would say no thanks. You know? That's true.
I'd rather take my chances with that than have the shit that I see people eat on a daily basis. Gas station burritos, you know.
I gotta say I'm subscribed to a few more people than I had mentioned in terms of toy reviews. I'm subscribed to Kuma Style and Garinger as well. I'm subscribed to a guy named K. Michael Russell. He's like a colorist. He's like a comic book colorist, and he does like a lot of tutorial stuff. I'm subscribed to. I really look forward to his content. Mr. Sunday Movies. He's like a reviewer. He's got like millions of subscribers, but he's an Australian dude, funny as fuck, and I look forward to his content as well. And then Mike Henry, another colorist and like kind of tutorial guy, and then also the budget Jedi. He's a guy that does like a lot of diorama stuff, and he does it like as cheap as possible. But he has a lot of like interesting little tips and tricks and such. And then this other
trips.
He does take trips. He takes trips to the dollar store for his budget Jedi videos. And then I'm also subscribed to like this. It's called Woodland Scenics. Like
Chipmunks.
No, they do like diorama stuff, and mainly for like train sets and shit like that. And they're a company that creates like a lot of like stuff for dioramas, but they have some pretty interesting like tutorials. They're all advertisements for their product, obviously, but it doesn't take away from the like kind of the merit and quality of what they're putting out in terms of content. So like I watch, those would be the ones that I look forward to probably the most outside of like people we know and you know all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Do we have any other questions, or is that it for the night?
Let's see. There's more questions. There's more questions. Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh my God, there are. Okay. Hi there, guys. First of all, I must apologize for my failed attempt at humor last week when I said Bobby hates Hasbro. I did not realize you had some crazy hate. Oh, dude, I wasn't taking it any kind of way. You don't have to worry about that. I appreciate all you guys for the time you dedicate to the community. And it's all good, buddy. I was just going with it. Not a big deal. With that said, did you all keep your packaging boxes in blisters, or do you throw them away? I save all my packaging and my kids' toys packaging, but quickly running out of space. What is your take? Robert, why don't you go ahead with this? Because you're
Yes, I throw everything out except for Fans Toys and Takara. Everything else goes in the trash, and it's very cathartic, and you would feel great to do it. Let it go. It's not worth the extra $20 in value, if that, to lose. If you look at all the boxes you've got taking up all of that space in your life, is it worth that extra uptick in a possible sale 5 years from now? Is it really worth that to you? If it isn't, put them in storage or keep them in your house. But you'll feel great if you toss them. It's annoying. I do it in waves, but like right now, I have to do a little cleansing here, and I'll have a bag for the cardboard, a bag for the plastic for recycling, and a trash bag for the styrofoam and stuff. And you just got to sort it all out, break it up. You just break them all down and then throw them out. You'll feel fucking great.
I agree. I just recently, when I finished off the movie room in my basement, like I ran out of space, so I had to get rid of I had to get rid of something. Something had to give, and I decided to get rid of the boxes. And it was a pain in the dick. I was like 2 or 3 trips to the dump with the SUV filled to the brim. I took Chris one time. I took Joe one time. Like, it was a fucking disaster. But afterward, I felt like a weight had been taken off my shoulders. Like, it's like Fight Club. Like, it's one of those things that always comes back to. Like, the more things you end up owning, the more they end up owning you.
Yeah.
And it was very relieving. So the only boxes I keep now is if I get something and I'm like, you may not be here for the long haul, then I'll keep the box.
Or if it's super expensive, right? Something that's like super duper expensive.
Or Hot Toy stuff.
Right. Like I have my Voltron boxes, the SOC box I'm keeping, because that shit was really expensive. And what if? But it's one box. It's a one-off.
Right. What about you, Greg?
Well, I've only really ever kept my third party and my Takara boxes. I did keep card backs for a while. I threw out the bowls back when I collected, children's toys. I'm making that dismissive hand gesture, by the way, where I'm like out of my sight. I just throw them in the garage. Like, I'll hold on to them. Like, I'm not really bothered about the value, but if someone's like looking for a box, or like periodically, I'll just post a list of what boxes I have, and if I can make an extra like $10, because people have to have the box. They always buy loose and complete toys, but they have to have the box.
Right.
So, I made a few bucks. I bought a few toys just off of selling boxes, actually. So yeah, I don't keep them in the house anymore. I always just throw them in the garage.
What about you, Justin?
So I do tend to keep boxes, but like I've started reaching a point where as I run out of shelf space, I kind of go through whatever boxes I have. I'm like, okay, well, this is gone and this is gone, So I usually keep them. I think like I'll probably always keep the masterpiece boxes, but like the fans toy stuff, like I don't think I'm gonna sell them. So like I still have a hard time like being like, yeah, I'm done with these boxes, but at the same time, like I feel like they're probably close on the chopping block because they take up a shit ton of room, and I don't think that I'm getting rid of them anytime soon, if ever. So what's the point of keeping them in my closet and stuff? So I would like to actually just, like, a part of me really just wants to just be done with all boxes in general and just not worry about them.
That's very relieving.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just want to go to the store, go get some, like, plastic bins and, like, organize things that way, like, just put them in, like, a Ziploc bag, any accessories or whatever if I can't fit it as it is.
That's what I did.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy because if something comes in an instruction booklet, then you put that with the accessories in a Ziploc bag, and the instruction booklet tells you what the fuck's in the bag, like what figure it's for.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, like, even when I did that, it was still fucking 2 full totes worth of shit.
Yeah.
Like, it adds up. Yeah.
And like the more you sell things, the more it's like it really doesn't matter if you have a box on a lot of it. Like, you know, what's the value on it? And like half the time, if you want to sell it for a good deal or get someone interested, you're like free shipping anyway. And then when you have free shipping on something with a box, it costs you more because it ended up, you know, taking up more room. Right. Like, you know, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're more apt to sell something a little cheaper or loose.
Yeah.
It might move quicker because it's a little cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul C, what are your standard urinal stances? Are you a both hands on the hips and let it flow kind of guy, or a brace yourself on the wall guy, or a one hand on the fly, one hand on the dong guy, or something even more innovative? Paul C, while we're on the subject of urinals, if you want a good joke, when there's someone using the urinal next to you, tell them nice watch. The reactions are priceless. It usually goes from appreciation to horror pretty quickly. I guess I'm usually a one hand on my pants, one hand on my dick. I usually, because that's a more interesting for me. Well, like, are you a through the zipper or over the fence?
Do you drop your pants down?
No. But I'm usually a over the fence guy.
What?
Yeah. Like, I usually don't use a dick hole. Like, I go over everything.
You undo your belt? I mean, you don't wear.
Well, see, I wear sweatpants a lot of times.
Oh, well, then what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but I think I just got into the habit of doing it. So, like, when I am wearing something proper, I tend to, like, undo my belt and then bring everything out and then stuff it back in.
See, you're risking, like, maybe cutting off the hose without realizing it, and then you pull the pants up and a little extra comes out, and then you're like, fuck.
Yeah, that is true. And I am, like, if I do have to unbutton and unzip it, like, if it is that sort of party, then I'm usually keeping one hand holding my pants up and the other hand on my dick.
How often can I ask a side question? How often do you wear sweatpants out?
Out in public?
Weddings?
Yeah. Oh, hardly ever. Only like I wear them to work.
Yeah, because that's called your give up on life dad suit.
Yeah. I don't wear sweatpants in public like that.
Okay.
What about you, Robert D?
Now, this is an interesting question because I really am uncomfortable peeing in a urinal.
So you sit down. I gotcha.
No, I sit in it. I don't do that either. See, the thing is, when I'm in my house, I don't have a urinal, right? I pee in private, standing in front of a toilet. I get really uncomfortable. Like, I get really self-conscious. I'm like, I'm just standing next to strangers urinating in a wall because society tells me I'm supposed to be doing this. And I hate it. So I opt for the toilet. And I'd rather urinate in a toilet. It just makes me feel weird. You know, so when I'm peeing in front of a urinal, I'm just like looking at the wall in front of me, like, I can't believe there's someone fucking a stranger an inch away from me pissing on the same wall as me.
Do you so you use the toilet to take a piss? That's fine.
Yeah.
Dude,
I don't sit, I stand in front of it. You know,
I have a question. I have another question for urinal users. Do you go with the mid wall or the low wall mounted unit?
I feel like a pedophile when I pee in the low wall mounted.
So I always use the low wall.
Yep.
I always do. Because the splashback, and like if the splashback is gonna hit, I'd rather it be on my knees.
Yep.
You'd rather be on your knees?
That's not what I said. Greg, you got to answer for the question.
I do. I usually wait for the stall.
Okay.
See,
for two reasons. Well, usually, it mitigates splashback.
That's true.
Also, I like to be in the stall when there's a line waiting for the urinals, and I'm just like, oh. Especially the movie theater, like right when the movie gets out and the bathroom's back, I'm just like, oh, I've had to pee for like 3 hours. Plus, I usually have somewhere to sit my drink. I'm not worried about being a petri dish. The top of the toilet paper dispenser is preferable than right underneath the handle on the urinal. Unless there's newspapers, because some places put, like, especially bars, will have newspapers above the urinal so you can read, like, the headlines. And then I'm like, ooh, the library.
Why? I wipe my dick on those. When I shake, I do it with no hands.
Plus, I don't feel so bad ripping one when I pee from the stall.
Dude, I love to fart while I piss. It's like one of my favorite things in the world.
That would be wild.
I used to work with this young black dude in a restaurant, and I remember one day he came to the kitchen. He's like, "Why is it the white dudes always got to fart when they piss? Is that a white people thing? Black people don't do that." And I'm like, I don't know how your biology works, but it's all about pressure.
You don't know what you're missing. Like I had this
parametrics.
I had this meme. It's like one of my favorites ever. It's like Michael Jackson. It's a picture of Michael Jackson's face singing "We Are Man in the Mirror," and it's like his eyes are closed and like his teeth are kind of like he's like it looks like he's in ecstasy. And the meme says when you bust a fart while taking a piss at the same time. That shit is so good. But yeah, I'm also like I when I'm in the bathroom and somebody is like fucking like going to work on a shit in the fucking stall, like I am a fucking 5-year-old. Like every time, like I have absolutely no maturity. Like I'm like like I can't get myself together. I'm a mess. And I don't know how people shit in public like that. T2RX6.
Well, I go with the short stall or the short urinal for the same reason. I mean, obviously.
Right.
For the stance, I mean, it kind of depends. I mean, usually it's one hand on the gun and, one hand leaning against the wall if I'm tired. Otherwise, it's just one hand on the gun because it's going and let's get out of there. So, yeah.
No, I have to ask because I know you're a gun guy. Do you mean your penis? Or do you mean you're concealed and carry just because you don't trust
you know what?
strange men in the bathroom?
To be determined. Use your imagination.
Yeah, hashtag don't try me.
Hey, all I'm going to say is that, like, regardless which one it is, it'd be deeply unpleasant to be shot with it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Never mind. I'm not even going to go there.
You know what I love doing?
When I took that bus to TFCon, we stopped at like this truck stop kind of place that was like a gas station, gift shop, Arby's thing. Like it's like an hour or two into the trip, and I went in that bathroom. It's just a bunch of truckers. They have showers, and it was just like I kind of wish I had a firearm on me because I did not trust anybody in that motherfucker. That's the only time I felt uncomfortable in a bathroom.
So the last question for the night. What up, Shattered Cats?
What up?
Picture this. It's Saturday morning. You're in your 10-year-old body with all your cartoon knowledge you have now. And you have control of the TV from 7 a.m. to noon. Program what you are watching for that classic Saturday morning block, either singly or as a team. Be as obscure like Bobby's World or Galaxy High School. Classics like the real Ghostbusters or He-Man, or as current as the Transformers Prime and Young Justice. Fill your Saturdays up with your choice. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this collectively. Let's make a group effort here.
Well, I wouldn't call Bobby's World obscure, but that's just me.
That's fair.
I guess I have a sweet spot. But I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, that's cool. So 7 to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 5 times. So we're talking about 10 episodes, 10 shows. All right. So.
X-Men.
Well, wait. Let's do the easy shit. Let's do the easy shit. So we all would want G1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Transformers. And now, Justin, you suggested X-Men. Does anybody, what is it?
Second that.
Second that, or what is it called when you deny it or whatever? Yeah.
Dissent.
You second it or not? Does anybody second it? If they don't,
yeah, I'm good with it. So let's So
yeah,
two shows.
Yeah, I second it as well. Robert.
G.I. Joe.
No, do you second X-Men?
Only one person can second it.
No, Robert. That's not how we're doing. We're trying to see which ones we all agree on, so that we can immediately get those in. Then we might have to start compromising.
The rule is you second it and then you have a vote.
New rule.
Seconding it
If you
gets it on
guys
the
don't
floor
stop,
for a vote.
we're gonna miss all our
Yes,
shows.
I agree.
We only have 5
Okay,
hours.
okay.
Yes, I agree. We all agree.
All right, so Robert's suggesting G.I. Joe. I'm good with that.
Me too.
He-Man.
You go with G.I. Joe as well, Greg?
Yes.
Okay, I'm good with He-Man as well. Actually, here's the question though: 80s He-Man or 2000s
My
He-Man?
Young Park He-Man. Yeah, I know.
Both.
Can we just leave it ambiguous?
I need both. Just like I need Transformers Prime.
I'll put a question mark next to it so we can come back to it, but I think I'd be leaning towards 2000.
Me too. That's a better story.
Agreed.
Better show all across the board, but nostalgia.
Sure. 5. Let me suggest one. Batman the Animated Series.
Yep.
Okay.
Robert, you on board?
Eh.
Robert, you're
I'll
about
give
to
you
be off the
Justice League.
show
I'll
if
give
you're not
you.
on the board.
How about Justice League? I'll give you Justice League.
No.
I mean, Justice League's great too.
I'll give you Justice League. That's my counter. I wouldn't.
Robert, Crencher's on the way over here to fuck you up. I'm just letting you know he's cat stalking across the living room right now.
All right. So I feel like those are pretty much like the no-brainer, easy ones.
So that's 5.
That's 5. So we're all in agreement with the 5.
Mm-hmm.
What about Thundercats?
So Thundercats would be the next one up. Yeah. Where you at, Justin?
Trying to watch Thundercats now is really hard. It's just not that good of a show compared to some of the other fictions out there.
What about the 2000 Thundercats? I never watched it. But
I didn't watch it either. Couldn't tell you.
It was good. It was 2010 Thunder. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's still 2000.
Yeah.
It was good, but they just fucking dropped it, and they never resolved anything. Like, it just ended. Like, I enjoyed it, but that's just me.
Voltron.
What about Marshall Bravestar?
Is that Voltron?
I'm vetoing. I would veto Voltron and Bravestar.
Wow.
Honestly,
you're just vetoing because I said no to Batman.
No, not at all. Not at all. Voltron is one of those ones, like, I loved it as a kid, but when I went back and tried to watch it as an adult, I was like, this is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
What about Robotech?
I never watched it, so I can't say. I was aware of it. It's like Battle of the Planets. I was aware of it, but I just never really watched it.
Anybody
Bobby
else?
Trump faced over here vetoing shit. Just
Pardon me.
I'm trying to think about other, like...
What about you guys watch Robotech? Besides Bobby? Anybody else? No? Nobody else Robotech?
Hold on, I'm trying to get back in. Can you hear me?
No. Yes.
My controller didn't. I actually ended up watching. I watched less Robotech. I actually watched a lot more Macross in high school. I joined in my 9th grade year. I innocently joined a Japanese culture club in my high school for extra like thing, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna like do like fun stuff." Yeah, no, it was just us and this geeky ass teacher watching fucking anime VHS. We did go out for sushi one night.
What about Mask?
I remember the theme song more than I remember the actual show.
I loved that show. I loved those characters.
Mask.
Yeah, that fucking song was kick-ass.
I can get behind that.
What about you, Justin, for Mask?
DuckTales. Oh, sorry. Mask? Yeah, I could do Mask.
What about Turtles?
Hell yes.
Turtles.
Hell yes.
Yeah, I'm in for Turtles as well.
No.
Justin, can I see your DuckTales and raise you one Darkwing Duck?
I could see that.
I'm good with DuckTales as well.
No Muppet Babies either, Justin.
I didn't request Muppet Babies.
You were gonna.
No.
That was in your pocket.
All right, let's all relatively agree on one more, and then each person can pick one more, and then I'll read them off.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked right now, honestly.
I think we should
shocked.
put Thundercat. What?
I'm shocked that Justin said DuckTales before Ghostbusters. Shocked.
Oh yeah, the real Ghostbusters. I forgot.
See, I gotta be honest. I wasn't ever crazy about that cartoon. Like, I know. But when I was a kid, I was like, I think the fact that there were the two shows, I found it confusing, and I just got, and like the voices weren't right, so I was just like, I'd rather watch the movie.
What about Inspector Gadget?
That was another one I couldn't really get into.
Yeah, that show wasn't for communists. You're right.
The last was it the last Avatar? Was that what it was? Or
I never saw it. I never saw it. I heard it's great. Yeah, the Avatar is the Last Airbender. Yeah, Last Airbender.
I love that.
Yeah, I heard it's great. I never watched it.
I loved it so much I couldn't remember the name.
Cops? Did anybody ever watch Cops?
Yeah.
Cops and Robbers?
Dino Riders I loved.
I just like the theme song.
It only had like 2 seasons. If any
Does it have to be a cartoon?
Yes.
Or can it just be like a show that came on during there?
It's got to be.
Because Land of the Lost used to come on.
Yeah, that was a cool show.
In that block.
It says cartoon specifically though. Like I mean I know there's plenty more that I like, but I'm not sure if everybody was into them. Like I loved. I'll tell you what. For the sake of time, why don't we just split He-Man and He-Man 2000 since we were all kind of keen on that, and then we'll all pick one. So I know what my last one would be.
Jim.
Yes, Jim. Obviously, because I wanted to fuck the Misfits.
Like the Danzig Misfits.
The villains, wherever they were.
We are the Misfits.
Yeah. Justin, what would be your choice?
I will have to go with the Ghostbusters show. I mean, that was always one I liked as a kid.
Greg?
Go to Robert and come back to me.
Robert?
The Tick.
Oh, that is a good one. That is a good one. All right, Greg, your turn.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is a good one, too. The 90s one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one, too.
Radioactive Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
So, our choices are Transformers, X-Men, G.I. Joe, He-Man, He-Man 2000, Batman the Animated Series, Mask, TMNT, DuckTales, and then I choose Wolverine and the X-Men. Love the series. Justin chose the real Ghostbusters, Robert Tick, and Greg the 90s Spider-Man. Pretty solid lineup.
Well, I'd be with any. I would watch it and I'd go and eat breakfast during He-Man, so I didn't have to pay attention to it. But
are there any honorable mentions that didn't make the list? Like for me, like Justice League Unlimited is one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah. The Avengers.
The Avengers Assembled, World's Mightiest Heroes, or whatever. That was fucking outstanding.
Yeah, I really like that.
See, I'm thinking, I can't get my brain off shit like when I was a kid.
Right.
But I would say like Batman Beyond was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good.
I would say, I mean, shit, I threw the Clone Wars in there.
Oh, I forgot about Clone Wars. That would have been, yep, that would have been one of mine as well, Greg.
You failed.
I would have done.
Animaniacs, Invader Zim,
Tiny Toons.
Yo, fuck yeah, we go down.
Popeye.
Nah, Popeye that's
Betty Boop.
Yeah, that's too old, Robert. You're old as fuck.
I love the Three Stooges. Oh my god, I would watch.
Robert liked Mickey Mouse when he was driving the boat.
I just watched that for 30 minutes.
I would give an honorable mention for myself for Dragon Ball Z or Super.
Yes.
The two.
Mm-hmm. Fuck.
We need to go to the classics too, like the Jetsons and the Flintstones.
So he said, for bonus points, what big bowl of cereal you're eating during the dream lineup? And then he said, what classic commercials? I don't really care about the commercials part, but what bowl of I love all the commercials of all the toy lines from the 80s. What bowl line? What bowl of cereal would you have? What bowl line not? Robert.
As a kid?
No, just you can get your dream. You can have whatever you want, whatever cereal you want for this.
No
for
ramifications, like because I couldn't eat this, but I want to. Captain Crunch.
Yeah. Greg.
Well, as a kid, it would have been Kix, because I've always been on the healthier circles. Even when I was a kid, I hated
That's
sweet
crazy.
shit. If it was current, it would probably be a Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And since this is my dream, and I can make up whatever I want, it would be Cinnamon Toast Crunch Raisin Chocolate Puff bran with the Honey Smacks coating all over it. Actually, I like Honey Smacks. Kit got me back on Honey Smacks. So
Justin?
I throw Honey Smacks in there as an honor.
I'm just gonna go with old Lucky Charms.
Yeah, that's a good choice. And I would go with I would basically go with Captain Crunch, but it would be the Batman cereal where they were like Captain Crunch shaped like little bat symbols.
Oh, because I thought you were gonna say Crunch Berries, and I was like, well, we need to reevaluate our relationship.
No. Also, Robert, I feel like if you were gonna watch Mickey Mouse driving a boat, you gotta rock the cornflakes with the green bird on it.
It's a rooster.
It's a rooster's a bird, right?
When I was growing up, I never got to eat any of those cereals. My mom would make us eat fucking bland Cheerios or Wheaties. That's what I would have to eat, or like
Wheaties too,
or like Wheatina, like just ugh. Not
at least
cream
you
of
didn't have to
wheat,
eat
the
Quaker
brown shit.
Yeah, at least you didn't have to eat cream of wheat and that shit.
No, with the oatmeal, when we had oatmeal, I would get a dollop of brown sugar on it, so I would love that. Usually it would just be like fucking Cheerios. I was miserable. I was so jealous of my friends.
Dude, I hate Cheerios. My mom would eat she'd slam a bowl of Cheerios and her breath smelled so fucking bad. And like to this day, I cannot eat fucking Cheerios.
I'm okay with the Cheerios if you can put some sugar on it, but like just plain Cheerios is fucking
You're the bee man.
I would get bananas.
You're in that bee life. Little honey nut.
No, I would sprinkle I would get like a little bowl of sugar and like sprinkle it on top.
She would give me just some bananas if I was like, this isn't sweet. Fucking bananas. 4 bites. Back to your old Cheerios.
Fucking bananas.
All right. See, I love that shit when I was a kid. Kix, fucking. I eat corn pops every once in a while, but like Chex and what's the one that's like Chex, but it's not.
Chocks.
No, it's something. It's another one.
I know what you're talking about.
X's. All right, let's leave it to the.
But I love cinnamon Chex. That's what I rock now. It's fucking delish. All right, take us out of here, Robert.
Oh well. Yeah, I miss Matthew.
Oh, real quick, let me say this before we get out of here. We haven't updated the. I can't remember whether I said this last week or not. We haven't updated the outro. I'll get it done with Robert when we're on vacation. But shout out to also Breaking the Mold and Building Up to It and Fresh Communications, which are all part of the Cool Table Network and not mentioned in the outro. So, yeah.
On purpose.
Shut up.
You'd earn your keep.
All right.
All right, goodbye, fuckers.
I don't even know what the fuck that is, but.
Shoutouts to Cool Table Network, ROC, Andy's Around, Toy Detox, Plastic Fanatics, Spirit Vultures, Nerd Rage Radio, and Wigs.
And my personal favorite, the well-established Gentleman's Show, Stasis Lock.
At Real Robot, at Fear Corpse.
I am Ratchet.
Third Party TF Crashers, and Open Your Toys Podcast.
This podcast is intended for mature audiences only and sole purpose is entertainment. If it doesn't fit with your sensitive sensibilities, please feel free to turn it off now.
Shut up!